Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable. Teachers and classes back in session, here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, be sure to check us out at aoastudios.org. Book your session or service today. Got a brand new renovations for the new year, so make sure you guys check us out right up in Beverly, Massachusetts on the North Shore. And this is the first episode of 2026. Got a new year, new slate of interviews with artists, and an artist we've been meaning to have on the show for a long time, but he normally is on the West Coast these days, so we had to catch him while he was home for the holidays. Yeah. You guys probably recognize him if you're a fan of us through some of the shows we've thrown with him over the last few years called The Fire Inside. We apologize it didn't happen this year, hoping to bring it back next year. It was kind of a crazy year.
It was a crazy year.
We'll get into that a little bit, I'm sure, but fantastic musician, artist, producer. Just dropped his brand new project recently called Sage. Can't wait to talk to him about that. And of course, this is none other than my friend B Cave.
Let's go.
Joining the Turntable Teachers. Finally making his debut.
Finally, bro. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course. No.
Long time coming.
I know. Well, when we, of course, didn't do
What
the Fire
an introduction.
Inside. Oh, of course. Oh, got you, man. Of course, when we, unfortunately, as we know, we didn't do the Fire Inside this year, just scheduling conflicts and venue conflicts, and I got married, and you had a not so fun
My
experience.
event wasn't as fun as the marriage, but
exactly.
it's all
We
right.
both had some pretty major life events, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
and it just didn't happen. Didn't make it happen. But when you were home, I was like, hey, we got to get you come to the studio and do at least do the podcast, because we haven't done that the last 2 years that you've been home, because we've been so focused on the show. So it kind of ended up working out that you came.
I think it worked out. The timing of everything and it happening now, works out the best.
Awesome. Well, happy holidays to you and to those listening. Hope you guys have a great holiday. I know.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Obviously, as you're listening to this, it's past the holidays, but for the sake of it, happy holidays.
I hope
everybody.
they were happy.
yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed them. And so how you been? What's going on?
I've been good, man. I've been really good, actually. I've just been I broke my arm this year, so I've been dealing with that. But I think it brought me to a good place mentally. I'm feeling pretty happy in life. I've found a new mindset about everything that I'm kind of not content, but I'm good with where I'm at right now. I'm kind of taking grace with the time that I'm having to step back from everything. Yeah. I got my album out of it. I'm home with my family and my friends right now, so super grateful for that. And it's just all around good, man. The bad shit it sorts itself out when the time is right, All I can focus on is being here and being happy and enjoying my time that I get to spend with you and my friends and my family. That's really, what I'm saying?
Hey, man, sometimes the worst situations, as much as they can, obviously be tumultuous and there's hardship with it and all that sort of stuff, a lot of times there can be some good that comes out of it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
In the moment, you're not thinking of it in that way because it's you're so obviously hyper-focused on the shitty thing that's happening. But when you look back on it, even I think of some of the toughest times I've had, I'm like, okay, yeah, they sucked in those moments, but then I've seen what's happened on the other side of those, and it's just the normal ebb and flow of life, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, so
for sure. I've definitely had a lot of those, everyone has, but I feel throughout the years, just I've learned through that something positive usually comes out of it. So even when it happened, I was aware that a dark time was going to lead to a more lighter, at least lesson, you know?
Oh, 100%.
And it did. The only thing that's tough about this situation is that it's not over yet.
Right.
So usually 9 months later, you're over it and able to look back on it. I'm having a little hard time not yet looking back on it, but I am already super grateful for the lessons I've learned. Yeah. I'm happier outside of my life, outside of music, than I think I've ever been. So
that's amazing.
That I can't, you don't get there without trial and tribulation.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, of course, and all that sort of stuff. So that's awesome that you've at least come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
So
sure.
if you're a fan of Bee Caves, just being introduced to us for the first time, we start these podcast episodes with a segment we like to call Pop Quiz. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. It's not Pop Quiz. Well, I'm fucking it up. Cut. So if you're a fan of Bee Caves and just joining us for the first time, we start these episodes with a segment we like to call The Objective, where we get to know a little bit about our guest and their background. And so in knowing what I know about you and our relationship to this point, knowing each other the last couple of years, but really knowing you more from like a music side, I was almost like, I got to do a little more research on Bee Cave. I got to know a little bit more about him from just what we've talked about, and which has been a lot of business, but we've naturally, I think, grown a friendship through that. Sure. And one of the things I don't think I really realized was that you actually come from quite a musical family. I didn't know how musical your family was until I kind of had done some research on you, and that you originally music wasn't like a huge part of your life until you went to college. So I'm just curious. From that standpoint, like growing up with music so prevalent in your life, but then it not so much like being more of the dominant presence until you ended up going to the Create Music Academy after right when you were out of college and like moving to LA and like that whole process. So kind of like, I know it's a long-winded question, but sort of like take me through like that journey of being a young kid, being influenced by, the music you were hearing around you, and then eventually getting to that point where you were like, I need to be out in LA and like chasing this dream because it got so serious to that point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so when I was a kid and just growing up, my mom plays the drums. We had a piano in the house. I have like uncles in bands. Like my whole family is our family parties consisted a lot of like everyone bringing an instrument and like jamming. So that was like a lot of just like how I was brought up. Music was very prevalent. My mom, like I said, played the drums, tells me now how persistent she was on like cementing a good music taste in me. So we listened to like a lot of Beatles and just, I don't know, really good music throughout the years of growing up. And it's funny because like I was on sports. Sports was like my main kind of priority. And my sister was the one who actually was doing like singing lessons and singing in this like music school thing that we had in our town. So I would like go to her things, whatever, like do singing lessons. She did all that. And baseball was basically my priority up until my freshman year of college. Like I always loved music and I always was like really into finding new music, especially when I started getting into hip hop and rap when I was in like middle school. But so I played baseball, AAU every summer. That was like my dream was to be on the fucking Red Sox, Mm-hmm. And I was just fully focused on that amongst, I like partied a lot and played football and like amongst those things, baseball was like my main focus. Mm-hmm. So coming out of high school, my main priority was going to a college to play baseball. So I ended up having an injury that led me to right before this is, I guess, kind of a side note, but still integral part of my story is the weekend before I was supposed to go down to this baseball recruitment tournament in Florida. I injured my shoulder playing football and I couldn't make it to that tournament. Wow. And that was like my last shot to get recruited to the schools that I had like been looking at, been in talks with, whatever, but they'd never seen me play. That was my shot. And then I got hurt right before I went, so I couldn't go. So it changed my priorities when picking a school. I was like, all right, let's find a school that I really want to go to, good for what I want to go to school for, and then like hopefully I can play baseball there. So I went to Tampa, walked on my freshman year, played, and then after that I was like, baseball just like doesn't feel like it was the thing anymore. Like I still loved it, but like the coaches were dicks. I was playing with kids that were like MLB draft picks. And I was like, that is like, it seemed so far away from where I was. You know what I mean? And so into my freshman year, me and like the couple of my friends on my team, we kind of all decided like together we weren't going to play. And literally that summer I came home and my friend James had just been starting to post on Instagram that he was like making beats or using Ableton or whatever. And I don't know what made me do it, but I just like was interested in it. And I was like, bro, can you like show me what's good with that? And I went over to his house and he was like, bro, I have this sample I don't really know what to do with it. Like, if you want to try fucking with it. And we chopped it up and made a beat. And I was like, this is my new thing. And literally right then I went home, got Ableton, bought a little MPC thing, and I just started making beats right away. And that was just like my passion right there. And then probably like this was summer 2016, like going into my sophomore year of college. So I went back with that kind of like being my passion, but I'm still like doing school, and like Tampa was a crazy school. So there was like a lot going on. And then my junior year was when I like first really started. I think end of my junior year is when I first really started like recording, because I was a producer first. I was just making beats, and I just ended up not having anybody to like make music with. Tampa doesn't really have much of a music scene, and I didn't even like really know how to go about networking, because at that point it wasn't like I'm gonna be a producer. It was just like I was doing this and this was fun, but then I was like, all right, well, me and my homies would just like smoke and like rap on some of the beats. Eventually I started recording, and then I dropped my first project like the month I graduated from college, went home for 2 months, and then moved to LA.
Wow.
So it was like halfway through my junior year. No, probably like end of my junior year, beginning of my senior year was when I was like, oh, music is like what I want to do.
Yeah.
So like I had been back to like the ties with music early in my life. I'd been surrounded by music and very like musical upbringing, and I had a lot of musical roots, but I never made my own music until then. And then when I started doing that, I was like, all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's real. Well, thank you for that story, because I think it provides a lot of context and detail. But I am curious, like, what was the catalyst in you wanting to move to LA? Like was it just simply based on the fact that is the entertainment hub of essentially the world?
Yeah.
And you felt like that would be your best way to like further that, or was there another specific reason that like enticed you about LA as a city?
I mean, like that was definitely the majority of the reason, but I don't know, I guess I kind of have like long-term ADHD. I feel like, like I went to a high school outside of my hometown. Like I felt like I needed to do something different. I graduated high school and I went to school in Florida. And I was like, now I need to go somewhere else. Like and to me, I was like, well, I want to do music. My two options in my mind were New York City or LA. And I feel like I had always wanted to live in California. Like I've always been like a beach palm tree kid. Like we went on vacations a lot down to like the Caribbean and Florida and stuff. And I just always loved that. So I think when I had the opportunity to like pick between New York, where it's like not similar to Boston, but kind of similar coast,
Big
similar
brother
weather.
of Boston, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Or go to LA, which is like a completely different world. The beach, we grew up watching that shit in movies. And I was like, that just felt like the spot where I wanted to be. Yeah. And
different inspiration. No one really knows you
Yeah.
out there as well. You can almost like create your own path in that way, maybe.
For sure. Because I also like, I didn't have any foundation already.
Well, that's what fascinates me about this whole thing, and why I'm asking, because is it true? So you lived in a hostel for like 6 months when you were out there, right?
Yeah.
And with like 30 people or some shit, and you didn't know anybody out there.
No.
Like I'm just like,
I moved out there solo mission.
well, I'm so fascinated by it, and also commend you for it in a lot of ways, because I feel like that's such a ballsy move. I feel like, and I don't mean this to be critical of other people, but I feel like a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, most people, they need like a specific reason or some external force to potentially like push them in a direction to go. Like, for example, let's say you had a buddy of yours that like, hey man, like I'm moving out to LA, like come with me. Like but that's an easier almost path, I guess. But for you to like come to that conclusion on your own, like have no roots out there, not know anybody out there, live that way for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had not to put his business out there, but conversation with Johan Lennox where he's talked about, and his album's right behind you. This is why I can't believe it's funny this even bring this up, that it's dawning on me, but him talking to me about, hey, I used to sleep on people's couches and friends. I hit up whoever I could to, when he got started, when he got out there, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, sleep on someone's couch for a couple months here and then go there or whatever. And that's like, I know that's not like an abnormal story
Right.
for a lot of people that make that move. But like, it's just, again, I would give you credit, and for people listening to this, that like, I think it's such a good, just like a good way to go about life. It's like, if you want something, like, don't fucking wait. Go chase it. Go, like, don't wait for the reason to pop up or like the excuse, needing the excuse. Like, just go do it.
Yeah. I think I've always been really independent. You know, there's like, I definitely have some aspects of codependency. Everybody does.
Of course.
But I think in terms of like me, like finding something that I want to do, I'm not codependent in a way where I feel like I need someone to be a catalyst for me. Like, you know, like I said, I went to Tampa with nobody.
Right. That's fair.
I went to high school. Like, the only thing about the high school I went to that I knew was that my cousin was there, and he was a senior. So we didn't even like really go to school together.
Sure.
So I just like, I don't know, I try to find different experiences. You know, like I'm really about like experiencing new things. And I think you don't fully get to do that unless you like set forth on your own path. Cause, you know, even if you do it with somebody, you might get to a point where your paths differ a little bit, and then that might be a setback for you. Or I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways you could look at it, but yeah, I appreciate what you said. And like, yeah, I lived in a hostel. I moved to LA fucking by myself. I didn't know anybody.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I lived in a hostel, and it was a crazy experience. But like, I appreciate that experience, man. And like, I'm just trying to I just realized what it was that I wanted to do, I feel like, and was trying to just find any way possible to do it, you know?
Well, it shows that determination, that motivation to be able to like actually go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're still out there. You've
still there.
You've made it. You know what I mean? And at least made it sustainable for yourself, which is huge. And so yeah, I want to.
Process.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I totally understand that. I want to definitely transition to the next segment of the show, which we call the main lesson, which we talk about what you got going on now. And man, it's this project, Sage. So ever since we've been in communication, or you know, I got acquainted with you. So I didn't know you super well until you had kind of reached out, because I actually had started, obviously, Chase is in the other room. Shout out to Chase from Mindflex. Met him through the masterclass process of the album. I'm sure, I promise that's coming out in the next couple months, guys. I said it was coming out last year, never did, and I got sidetracked. It's coming out this year, but that's a whole other point. And we started throwing a couple shows, and I think again, it was cool, like what I thought we were doing. We were starting to build a foundation, but it was like cool that it caught your eye, and then, you know, that was our acquaintance. Like, I didn't really know your music. Like, I my first interaction or introduction to you was just your DM.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of like go back and listen to your stuff, and I liked your music, and I liked, again, when we had conversations, I liked your energy, like all that stuff. But man, this album at this point has made me like a super fan of yours. Like,
thanks, man.
This is, in my opinion, and I don't mean this to you know, put a bad mouth to any of your previous work, but in my opinion, this is by a long shot your best work.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not even close.
It's not even close.
It's like bar none, not even close. Like, I'm seeing people I know that I didn't even know knew you posting saying this is some of the best music they heard this year, which is really, really dope.
Yeah.
So
that's sick.
I say all that to say, you know, what got you there to make this music? Like, I just feel like it's the most confident I've heard you on a microphone. And again, you're a very confident performer. Every time you've performed, I've always been impressed. But the music sounds confident, but it has this like maturity level to it. It has this like refined sound, but it's reflective, but it's bouncy.
Yeah.
It's it's all these things that make it, I think, one of the best projects I heard this year.
Thank you.
Or in 2025, I should say. But also, like, it was a surprise.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to, put it this way, no disrespect, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Objectively, if I didn't know you and I had heard this new artist, B Cave, and they showed me that project, I'd be like, yep.
Yeah.
So like, what was it? Was it something specific? Was it just like the years that you've accrued to this?
Yeah.
Like was it kind of finding the right pocket and just running with it? Like, talk
Yeah.
to me about how this sort of thing happened, because every song is fucking so good, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much.
And I truly believe, like, I mean that wholeheartedly. I
Thank
texted
you,
you that. I go,
man.
bro, the project's unbelievable.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I think it's just like a culmination of a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I've had a lot go on in the last like year, and I mean, in terms with you know, we did 5th year and we're like taking a break from it now, but like my whole year last year consisted of like me and Dayne being a group and like
Which that
putting
music
stuff
was
out.
great too. I want to talk about that a little later as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, great in its own sense. It's different, you know what I mean? And like, so we did that for a long time. And I think when it comes to like visually marketing, world building, that I learned from that because 5th year was like the first time I had something like outside of my own self. Because previous to that, I had like a hard time branding myself because I was like, I didn't know what like I wanted to attach myself to.
can see that.
You know what I'm saying? When you are the brand, but like you're also you. I had a really hard time being like, this isn't really the brand. This is the brand. You know, I didn't know how to go about that like marketing wise. Like, well, I'll get to the music in a second, but just in terms of like
this is all good.
the presentation of everything and
Right,
like how I
right.
kind of came to
I
it.
can see that as your I didn't dawn on me, but now that you're saying that, I can see it.
Yeah, because previous to 5th year, I felt like I was putting my music was consistent. Like,
Right. You just didn't have an
know,
identity as an art, maybe as an
Yeah.
artist, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
my
or
only
you weren't
real
sure on what it was.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. I didn't like really have things that I felt like were important. I mean, I always felt like I had something to say, but I feel like I wasn't confident in what I wanted to say, and there were talking points that I wasn't like confident in talking about.
Okay.
And also like those things being able to come into music in a way that sounds cool. Because like, you know, there is a lot of subject matter in parts of my music that is a little bit more like conscious rap-esque type of stuff. Like when I'm talking about just self-reflective and introspective stuff. But I'm very aware that that genre is gets corny fast. So like, no disrespect, but that's how that is. And I like music that sounds cool. So like my intersection of like being able to put that introspective stuff, soulful lyricism into something that sounds cool is important for me. But so yeah, with the 5th year stuff, I feel like I really learned a lot about marketing and how to do social media in a way that like caught some people's attention.
Right.
And have like branding things. Like we had the couch and I was like, that was just an idea that I had, but it worked. And not that it blew up, but like people were
It was
asking
interesting.
me about it.
Yeah.
Like my real gauge on if something works on social media is if people in real life come up to me and talked about it. If it does well, that's great. But like we did this thing where the first song we put out was called Front Porch, and we would go knock on people's doors and be like, hey, we really like the way that your front of your house looks. Do you mind if we have this song called Front Porch? Do you mind if we shoot a music video right here? And we got some people to
That's
say
how
yes.
that's how Lil Dicky got huge.
That was the inspiration.
That
That was inspiration. So we did that, and it did well social media. But I realized how many people were coming up to me in person, being like, "Dude, that was a great idea. Like, I've never seen anybody do that. I would never do that. Whatever, blah blah." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that clicked for me there." And then, you know, we were still making music, and then I broke my arm. And honestly, we were kind of already at a point where Dayne was like working on his own project, and we were starting to kind of work on our own project. So then after I broke my arm, I kind of decided I was taking a complete break from music. So then that was the point where he was like, all right, well, I have my own project I'm going to work on. He's like, I'm just going to go do this. I'm going to figure out my own shit while I am dealing with this injury, whatever. So yeah, so I decided to take a break from music completely. And it's the first time I ever did that since I started making music. Like I have literally since I started making that beat on Ableton that summer, I don't think I've ever taken a 3-month break. And that's what I did. I just like, at first started out as me like not having the energy or wherewithal to like sit at my desk at all and like make music.
Of course.
Because like, I mean, if you haven't figured out by now, I broke the fuck out of my arm.
So for context, guys, this man broke his humerus. Is that correct?
Broke my humerus in 3 places.
Which they say is one of the hardest bones to break in your body. I looked it up because I didn't understand.
Yeah, it's the
Like, when I
second
talked
biggest
to-
bone in your body.
Yeah, and I was like, so I know I had said this to somebody, or no, I can't remember who it was I was talking to. I said, oh yeah, my friend of mine just broke his arm real bad, and like, what'd he break? I'm like, his humerus. Like, that's like the hardest bone in your body to break, other than your femur, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, especially in your arm, because
Yeah.
you think about it, most of the time you break either, I think it's one of these two arms, the
radial.
radial or the.
I don't know.
I'm not great with it. Dr. B, who's back from my anatomy and phys teacher back junior year. I don't remember the other one, but what off the top of my head. But so yeah, I mean, yeah, you broke the fuck out of your arm.
I broke the fuck out of my arm,
and that's like uncomfortable. You're like, I'm sure, right? Because you can't probably move this. Like it's like it's different if you break this part. I feel like because you can at least move your arm around. You know what I mean? Versus like if it's this, it's like it's here. I would imagine, right?
No, I was in a sling for like 2 months, and then I still wear. It's still broken right now. I'm moving like this, and it looks normal, but I'm getting surgery soon. It'll be fixed soon enough. Positive vibes towards that.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I was in a sling for like 2 months. But yeah, so that breaks happened. And it literally forced me into taking a break from music. And I kind of just like completely set it on the back burner for the first time and allowed myself to like live life, Which allowed
is the
like
inspiration for music.
Yeah. So I like really didn't realize how much I was putting into music without putting anything into like my life. And I was starting to like, I work right by the beach, bro. So like I was starting to go to work and just like go into the beach after work. And like my friend's like, yo, we're going here. You want to go? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And like I'm going out more and hanging out with friends. And like, I just have like a really good group of friends at work now that started coming together around the same time. So like we were all hanging out a lot. And, I'm just like experiencing a little bit more and like honestly taking some time to like date, which is like the first time I ever really fucking took serious time out of my life to like put towards that. So I'm just like experiencing all these things, like not worrying about music and just became happy without music. And I was like, all right, well, this is like a cool place to be at. And I honestly got to the point where I was like genuinely scared that I was like, damn, like I'm happy right now, not making music. And I was scared that I was going to be like done with it. I was like, damn, like when I come back to it, am I even going to want to do it anymore? Like, or am I even going to be good at it? Is my inspiration going to be there? Am I going to know how to rap still? Like, you know what I mean? All this stuff. So I was like, all right, well, I had been throughout the whole time, like granted, I'll like make half of a beat here and there. I was never like, I don't know, whatever. I started being like, all right, well, the root of why I wanted to make music and why I love it is because it's fun. And I was like, well, if I'm going to get back into making music, I have no plans about an album, no plans about anything that I'm going to work on now. Let me just like start setting up sessions like solely with my friends that all make music and have fun. And I was like, cool. So I started setting up sessions with my homies, all my friends out there are producers. So the first session I had was with my friend Max, Mitchell, and Momo, and we made Serendipitous. And I was like, we had so much fun making it. And I was like, this is the best song I've ever made. I was like,
isn't that crazy?
Okay, sick. So I do love this. I am good at it. Not only am I good at it, I'm better at it than I've ever been. The subject matter was potent. The lyricism and like what was just coming out of me was way more potent than it had ever been. I was like saying what I really felt. And which is hard, you know what I mean? I feel like I've had a hard time putting my true originality into lyrics sometimes, because I'm really super hyper focused on not saying things that aren't true.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like as a music lover, but also as a media talking head, like I appreciate that because it's like, how many people just make things or they put a persona on about themselves to fit a narrative or whatever. It's like it happens. We see it all the time.
To fit in the genre.
Yeah, and whatever. I guess in theory, like whatever. Go get your bag or go do you like. There's nothing wrong inherently, I guess, wrong with that. I just always gravitated towards what music I felt was genuine.
Yeah. So that's like kind of really been what I came back to that with is I felt like I just needed, because I also was like, someone I was listening to a lot of the time was Larry June. And like, I realized like I started like assessing the music that I liked a lot during my break before I like got back into music. And I feel like for a long time, I was trying to like, I would record and then something would sound different to me and I would change it because I hadn't heard it before. And I was like, no one really says this or whatever. Let me like put something in there that like makes sense. But then I realized like the cool shit is the shit that like no one would say. And like that's what I'm saying about Larry June is like he's writing songs about Baragon lighting and fucking imported couches. It's like, you know what I mean? That's shit that I like. I love his music, but I was like, why do I love his music and him? And I'm like, well, I love him and Dominic Fike and like Mac and these people that are talking about real like shit that are their experience.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, well, the potency of my lyrics just became way more clear and evident. And I made that song, and that song like changed a lot for me, like perspective wise, and just where I realized I wanted to go with my music. I mean, that song has a 1 minute long guitar solo intro. Like, if you're talking about not giving a fuck about trying to like cater towards trends or TikTok or whatever and like focusing on the music, like that was literally how the album starts. Like, that's what I wanted it to say, you know, intrinsically. Like, you don't put on the album and it's like the best song, 2 count right in. It's like, no, you have to like, it's not made for instant gratification.
You have to earn it.
You have to earn it.
As a listener, you have to earn
It's beautiful. Listen to it. So
I concur. It's beautiful.
so that's why I was like, dude, it would be crazy because he put the solo at the end originally. That wasn't where it was. I was like, dude, we should put this solo at the beginning and then do another solo at the end. Like, fuck the rules, you know? So I started like really playing with shit different ways and trying to use like more organic sounds. And so from there, I just kept like making music and just being super self-aware in a way that like, usually if I was very like kind of not specific, but kind of specific, I guess, about people I was having sessions with, like friends and shit. And, you know, I would have that gauge. I would be very self-aware to the point where I would be like making music, whatever. If I'm like struggling for a moment, I would be like, am I having fun right now? I'm not having fun? Next. And that was my only gauge. So I started making music, more music. I started having more sessions. I started kind of becoming obsessed with it again. And then a few songs in, I was like, damn, I think I have a project here. Don't know what it was. Granted, like there's no project before this one I consider to be an album. This is my first album.
Right.
So somewhere along the lines there, like the Sage thing had come about. It was kind of like random. Someone had like said to me, we were on a beach like smoking and shit, and I was just like, yeah, man, you know, about like giving some like old experiential advice or whatever. And he was like, dude, you remind me of like an old Sage right now. And I was like, fire or whatever, blah, blah. And it just like stuck with me. So then I started like making more music, and it started sounding very natural and very inspired by nature. And I was starting to like bring in earth tones. That was another thing that like from the 5th year shit that I learned is like we need to have colors. Like colors are important. And like, what are my colors? So then I was like, damn, Sage is a color, Sage is a concept, and Sage is a person. And this is breaking, but Sage is also a dog that I had when I was growing up.
No shit.
Yeah. So when I was born, my parents had a dog named Sage.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
I love that shit.
Yeah. So
wow.
That was like one of the last pieces that just like made
it makes sense.
The world connect for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
Like the whole thing was just like,
wow.
It came like that. So then I was like, damn, let's just keep, and it just slowly all started coming together. Like, and then my friend AJ, who's my videographer, came into my life at the same time. It was like, I was like kind of feeling like I was like halfway done with the album, and I was just coming up with the concept, and I was pitching it, showing him songs and telling him about the concept. And he's like, I'm on board. Let's go. Let's do it. And he's just like been with it. That's like so trying to build the whole thing with me.
The visuals have been great.
Yeah.
Like that's another piece of it too. I mean, like it really makes sense. And I love the series you were doing where you would walk up to somebody and have them pick a number and you just play them.
Yeah.
I know it's like, it's been done. I'm not saying you like invented it, but
I'm still doing it.
No. But I'm just saying like it comes from like, you're not force feeding anything down anybody's throat.
Yeah.
It's like, let you choose your own fate or adventure and then decide how it works. You know what I mean? That's been a cool part to watch as well.
That part's funny too, because there's 2 numbers out of 10 that if you pick, I have to say next.
Right.
So, because the album's only 9 songs.
Exactly.
And song number 5 is an interlude.
Interlude.
So,
Yeah.
like,
I noticed that.
Yeah, I say that to people, and no one's picked either of those numbers yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I was going into it with like a little bit of just like,
Yeah.
let's just hope no one picks these 2 numbers.
That's so interesting.
And no
I
one
like
has
that.
yet.
So for me, when I was listening to the album, I was impressed with the entire thing. But the song that I felt really, for me personally, not so much from like a connection of the actual material, but just sonically, really hit home for me was "Breathe."
Thank you.
Just it reminds me of like old school Faces Mac. Like it really gives that vibe to me.
Wow.
What song in this list or this in the track list is your wow moment, or like surprised you? Maybe it was Serendipitous that you already talked about, but if not, maybe if there's another song where after you made it, like, holy shit, like I made this, like this is something that I'm actually super proud of. Like, was there a song in the track list that spoke to you in that way?
Yeah.
Because that's the song for me that blew me away as I was listening to the project. Like, I liked every song. Breathe was the one that stood out to me a lot, though.
Thanks,
just
man.
from that perspective of like, damn, BK made this. Like, I'm not saying you weren't capable, but it just was like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Thanks, man.
So
Yeah, I feel like I appreciate that. Thank you.
that song's fucking awesome.
And I appreciate the attention to detail you have when you listen to things.
I try.
But I think, like, so I have an answer, but I think there's a couple songs on the album that I had that moment in different ways.
Interesting. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
like Serendipitous was that for me in a way that was like, it broke the ground of where I thought I was.
Sure. Yeah.
That song almost like what I've kind of been saying to people is like, you know, I feel like everyone uses this analogy, at least I always do, of like building a house. You know what I mean? There's a thing that's a foundation, you build the frame, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I literally feel like when I made Serendipitous, and this album especially, is like I was building a house beforehand, and then I just like laid the foundation of like a way better house. You know what I mean? Like
fair.
I'm building the mansion now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's what that was. So like Serendipitous was a huge moment for that, for me, just in terms of like what I thought I could do. Breathe was like a important one for me too, because like I'd had that Max Mitchell on the production is like, this kid's out of his mind.
He's unreal.
He's out
I
of
really
his
like
mind.
his production a lot.
Bro, shout out Max Mitchell.
He's
like,
produced some songs that I didn't even know he did, because he does a lot of. Didn't he do a lot of Trevor Spittis stuff as well?
Yeah.
I had been listening to him for a minute. Actually, I think it was
Yeah.
you the one that told me. You're like, oh, like I think I was listening. I think I maybe had said something. It was right around when we were just had gotten acquainted, and you're like, oh, my boy made that beat. And I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
Or whatever, because like so it's funny. I've heard his work and without even knowing.
Fuck
it was
yeah.
him.
Yeah, Trevor's the homie. He's like one of my favorite artists right now too. But Max has been literally made. He moved out to LA and moved in the crib with me in 2020. And we've been like he's probably produced 75% of my catalog. I put out like 70 songs, and he's probably produced like 75% of them.
Yeah.
So like he's been my number one collaborator. Like whenever I have an idea, whenever I have an idea, he's like down for it and can execute. And whenever he makes some shit that is like off the wall for me, I always try, you know what I mean? Like we're always trying to like bounce shit off, and like he's just so talented, and I'm like forever grateful for him and like his work and just him as a homie. But yeah, so Breathe was a beat I had for a long time, and the beat is called Breathe.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this has happened a couple times throughout me and Max's relationship, where he'll name a song, name the beat something, and it
you
like
end up taking
it sparks
it takes on the run.
Yeah,
the
but-
life of it, the song. Yeah.
But he sent that to me like so long ago. Like he sent that in a pack, like a 5th year pack a while ago.
Huh.
And I think me and Dayne had even like recorded something else on it that ended up like being whatever. And I just knew like the grandioseness of that production. And I
Right
was
when
like,
it comes in,
Yeah.
right away. Just it has such a punch to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought I loved about this project was the punchiness of some of the production with the drums and things like that. But the melodies were so lush and almost like there was a punch, but it wasn't abrasive. It had that like really nice contrast where you could kind of vibe to it and like get a little bit, I don't want to say rowdy, but you could get some energy to it.
Yeah.
But you could also kind of just relax to it.
Yeah.
Like it almost can live in both spaces, which I
Yeah.
think is a really hard thing to balance. I feel like you
sure.
kind of, not saying you can't do it, but you almost sometimes have to go one way or the other with it.
Yeah.
And I felt like even that song, I think, embodies the project in that way.
Yeah.
Of it. It can kind of live in both spaces.
Right.
If
And that's kind of
sense.
like what my goal is with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's my vibe.
Sure. No,
You know what I mean?
fair enough.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll get rowdy, but I'm chilling most of the time.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I walk the line.
So, yeah. So, okay.
Personally,
Well, then that's why this project is
Yeah.
so pivotal and so amazing because it does, I think, embody. It speaks to everything you're talking about earlier of like not finding your identity and your own branding within yourself. And like this kind of feels like it's it to me. I mean,
for sure is it. And
or at least for this amount of time,
at least
it's it.
right now, my period of life.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? It definitely like encapsulated where I'm at right now, what I'm doing, and it like that's all that it needed to be.
Right,
You know?
right.
So yeah, breathe was an important one for me. It took me a while to like pull that up. Like, you know, I felt like I never felt like I had the right thing to say on that beat, you know, until I finally pulled it up during the Sage sessions. And I just like the breathe, it just like connected with me because
So
it
good.
was like what I was going through, you know what I mean? And like the whole thing about like I had just watched Eternal Sunshine, so like the lay down on a frozen lake, look up, you know what I mean? So that shit, it just kind of like all connected in a way that like I feel the same way when I like listen to that song. It's like, wow, I really made that shit. But
really cool.
I think one of like the most impactful songs for me to make was Origami, the outro.
Okay.
Because I think that was the first time I ever like got emotional writing.
No shit. Wow.
Yeah. So that like second verse when I'm talking about like, you know, me being scared of my parents calling because for a long period of time when I was in Tampa, I had a string of relatives and people in my life die while I was in Florida. And it became a fear of mine that when my mom would call me randomly,
That it would be.
that would be the trigger. And I feel like that was like the first time I really put that into song. You know what I mean? I was able to like peel back a layer I had never peeled back before and it became real, you know? And that whole song just like, it just means a lot to me in a way that like I felt it being the outro was the only
It's really great.
way.
It was a great closer, and you know, it gave it that sentimentality.
Yeah.
That I think you heard throughout the project, but then it really kind of like capped it off as that. Yeah, man. I mean, wow, that's a really cool story. I'm just happy for you in general for you to find that because, and I think that like, you know, I took a break from the podcast for 6 months back in 2021, I think it was. I was going through a really, really rough, same with you, rough patch, like didn't have the motivation to do it anymore. Didn't feel as though I had anything to offer to it. Wasn't sure if I'd come back to it. Came back to it at a time where I think I really needed it. And then it catapulted all the rest of like my trajectory. You know what I mean? So it's like, I do feel as though that the breaks are so important.
Yeah.
Like even in just our day to day, like I'm even finding that, you know, yeah, like the work is important, right? Those reps, they're important, but like you almost, and I'm finding this a lot more now than ever before that I almost have to build in time to step away from things and take a break because it allows for me to come back with a much fresher mind. I think that's anybody. It's not just even me or you or whatever.
Sure.
And I think like anytime you are burning that candle at both ends, yeah, like you're working hard. And I know like our society, our culture preaches that, and it is important, but like you got to take care of yourself, man, because if you're not, then like that's when things start to feel forced or you burn out or you can't pull from any inspiration that makes you feel alive.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're starting to speak on things that don't even like aren't meaningful to you or impactful to you.
Not like resonating.
Right.
You're just writing to write.
Exactly. You have to kind of live. And
For sure.
you know, I think that, you know, for you to have that time and that moment when you came back, it doesn't surprise me necessarily because I think like that was necessary.
Yeah.
You know, so props to you, man. Like, I'm so happy for you guys.
Thank you.
If this conversation has not convinced you to go stream this shit, please do. Don't go anywhere quite yet because we're not done with BK. But after the conclusion of this episode, click the links. All the all the streaming platforms to Sage will be down there below. So wherever you stream your music, you can definitely check it out in the description. So please do that.
Let me know what you think.
You will not be disappointed. 100%. I promise that. I want to transition briefly from the main lesson to a segment we like to call Pop Quiz.
Okay.
Where we ask our guests rapid fire questions about some things have to do with music, some things have absolutely nothing to do with music whatsoever.
Okay.
Just things I found out about you.
Yeah.
But nothing incriminating, nothing embarrassing. We like to.
Everything is off record.
Yep. And if he needs to plead the fifth on anything, no, I'm only kidding. All right. So name one highlight from your baseball career in high school or at University of Tampa.
Let me see. One highlight.
I asked Yana G this question recently from her basketball career. Ended up giving me what was funny. She gave me a low light, which is really funny.
Yeah.
She gave me a time where she like fucked up on the court, and I'm like, that's hilarious. So
Yeah.
just wanted to point that out. Shout out to Yana G.
I was saying, like, it's almost like not even fun to give like a cool thing that I did. Like,
Well, that's what I mean. Like, she took it in that way. She could have been like, yeah, I dropped 30 on those bitches. But like, instead she was like, nah, like in a game, I chucked it from like half court thinking I was like that. And my coach was like, get your ass fucking over here. Like, it was so good.
No, well, honestly, like this isn't a highlight, but one of the things that sticks out to me the most, and like one of the things that'll still come up when I like hang out with my friends, is we had a double header on like a Saturday, and we went out the night before, and I fucking barely slept, whatever. A lot of times what was happening is like I would start one of the games and sit the other game because there was like a bunch of outfielders, whatever, or I would like come in the second half. Whatever.
I get it.
We get to I like went out late, whatever, showed up to the thing not expecting to play the first game, because I think what would happen is like Saturday I usually played the first game, second game, whatever the fuck. But I showed up to the first game not expecting to play. And it was one of those things where like, when your buddy's like the drunk, like, he's drunk. Like that was me. We were on the bus and I'm just like hurting, dude. And everyone's laughing because they fucking knew. And we get there and they're like, all right, Brendan Cave, right, like center field, batting fifth. And I was like, fuck, bro. So I was like, so I was like, fuck. All right. So fifth, I was like, all right, if we can make it past the first inning, because we were the away team, if we can make it past the first inning and I can at least get out to the field and then get up the second inning, I'm going to be okay. Of course, I come up fifth, 2 outs, guy on first and second. I'm like swerving at the plate, dude. And we're in like D2. These guys are throwing pretty hard. And I just fucking hack a swing, dude. Hit one over the second baseman's head or whatever. Score both runs.
No shit.
I fucking didn't make it a double because I didn't want to run. And I just stopped at first. And all my homies in the dugout were like, let's fucking go, dude. And like cracking up laughing the whole time, bro. Like that
funny.
Shit was wild. So
Was this in high school or college?
This was in college.
This was college? Oh,
yeah,
that's
this
funny
was
as hell.
college.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, not like a highlight of my career, but just a funny moment.
Just a funny moment. Yeah. On the flip side, so I wonder, I hope this was you. I thought so, but we'll see. I saw you won the Sportsmanship Award for your Sunday School Basketball League when you were 10, otherwise known as the MSSBL. So my question to you was, if you could hand out a Sportsmanship Award to a fellow artist or collaborator, who would get it and why?
Wow.
And I looked up a definition for sportsmanship in case you need it. It's someone that has a lot of character and integrity. So if you were to transition that over to a lot of the collaborators you have musically, who would maybe get the Sportsmanship Award?
Oh my god, dude, that's so funny, bro.
That was you, correct?
I don't even know.
Did you not play?
When I was 10, I
Sunday
definitely
school
did.
basketball.
I definitely did.
There's an article out there. It's really funny. I found it. It was from 2011. And I felt like it was you. It said Middleborough and everything.
Yeah.
Not to like give away my thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, this has to be him.
You got to
Super
send
funny.
me that.
I will. It was wicked funny.
Damn.
Said you scored I think you scored 13 points in a losing effort, 14 points in a losing effort, but you were given the sportsmanship award
Dude, that's a kick in the ball.
for this Sunday school basketball league when you were 10. It was hilarious. But anyway.
Is that worse than the participation trophy? Or is that
I think
it
it's
might be a little bit
I think
better.
it's slightly above. I
Yeah,
think it's like
yeah.
a tick up above from a participation
You're the best
trophy.
loser. You did the best at losing. Like,
Exactly.
congrats on this.
You didn't punch anybody in the nuts after you
Wow.
lost. You were very
That's so
you were
funny.
you were a good loser.
Yeah.
You had good sportsmanship.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
bro. So what's the question?
Sorry, we digress. My question was if you could hand out a sportsmanship award to a fellow artist or collaborator of yours, who would get it and why? So we don't mean to say that they're the best loser, but it's just who has who's the glue guy in your group, or the people you work with, keeps the group together, keeps people positive, has good character, integrity, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Wow, that's hard, man. I mean, I try to surround myself with people that are all like that.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Not to say that you haven't bad
For
people,
sure.
but yeah.
But honestly, I want to say you.
Really?
Yeah, you're great. You're in the community, bro. Like the way you put on all these artists and do these shows and everything, it's great.
Thank
So
you
I'm
so
gonna
much.
say someone else just for the point of the thing.
Sure.
But you're the first person I thought of.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was very kind of.
Yeah.
We didn't.
No, that was great, bro. I mean, just all
appreciate
of
that.
the way that we've always been working, and you've
Yeah.
always been super supportive of me and all the other artists that are out here, bro. Never bad blood with anybody, always positive, fucking trying to help people, put people on. Man, it's great.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
I mean, it means a lot. Really appreciate
For
that.
real. And I'm not bullshitting. either.
No, I know. We didn't plan this. It wasn't
For sure.
That's super funny.
But someone for me, especially involving the Boston community, has been Chase. Chase Murphy. He's been super, super supportive. Had me, I mean, it was a very wild couple of days last Thanksgiving, but had me open for him last year. And he's just been a good homie. We met over some music shit, and then we became closer over the last 2 years. And he's someone that it's cool because we kind of have this trade off a little bit where he's been making music longer and putting music out longer than I have, and has more experience when it comes to throwing shows and different things like that. But then it's cool because he came to LA and I'm able to show him around a little. Not that he needs my help at all, but you know what I mean? We're able to
you're in a position where you can offer that.
offer something. And yeah, man, he's just been great to me. He's a great dude. Super supportive. Yeah.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can't think of anyone else. I mean, Max Mitchell, of course.
Yeah, I was about to say he feels like quite the glue guy, right?
Yeah,
Kinda brings
Max
everything
Mitchell was the obvious answer, but I feel like I could talk about him all day.
in. I believe it. We actually ended up going through some of these throughout our conversation, but another one I was really curious about. What's the nicest car you ever saw or drove in your days as a valet?
Ooh, good one. I've driven every car.
Okay.
Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces.
All right, so let me rephrase the question then. What's the best car? Yeah, I'll still say the best car or your favorite car that you got to drive, and what's one that was disappointing? Where you got in, you thought it was gonna be super dope, and you're I actually would never own this car. This thing sucks.
I mean, honestly, the shittiest one is the shittiest nice car is the BMW i8.
I hate BMWs. I used to drive an old one. I have a crazy story about it. I won't bore you with the details, but long story short, I was going to take my teacher test called the MTELs. I was a junior in college. My uncle had gifted our family. He had a bunch of them, a super old BMW, 5 Series. And long story short, I'm driving it. It was the year that we got so much fucking snow it broke records, 2015. Long story short, it almost caught fire and blew up on the highway.
Damn.
I was
crazy.
stranded on the highway in sub-0 degree weather, and my BMW is almost in flames.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Fuck that.
So, fuck that shit.
Fuck that shit. But yeah, that is because I don't even think I think they stopped making them. But
Good, as they should have.
they uptrended for a while and they just suck dick. The BMW i8s suck dick.
Good to.
And even then though, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris are better than Lamborghini.
Okay.
The Lamborghinis,
These are all the things we want to know.
yeah, the Lamborghinis are they're cool. I don't know. I like Audis a lot, and I like
Audis are dope.
Classic cars more.
Yeah.
Like when you get up to the upper ranks of like the really, really fucking nice Audis, like those are the ones that are fire. The Benzes are really, really nice. Like the new electric ones are sick. I'm trying to think about like, Cybertrucks.
Yeah, fuck them.
They suck.
Oh, they look. They look like shit. Let's just call a spade a spade.
I'm not even a Tesla hater. I fuck with Teslas.
I have nothing against them. The Cybertrucks look like shit.
Dude, they are not fun to drive. They rock like a boat on water. They like rock on an axis, and they're really, really long. So, whack. But some of my favorites, I don't have like a specific favorite that comes out, but I always loved, because like my memory's shot, so I don't really have like
Fair enough.
specific things.
No, this has already been a good answer.
But I love like older cars. A lot of the times people would come in and like not let us drive them. But at the last place I worked, there was this person that would come with like this old school Range Rover. There was another one that had like an old school Benz that was really sick. Like I love the like the 67 to 69 like S-Class or whatever they're called. They have like the circle Benz logo on the front.
Okay.
Those are sick. Out of the new cars, the Bentley Continental's sick.
Okay.
The Rolls Royces are cool. Cullinans are overrated. The Cullinans are cool. It's a little overrated. The Lamborghini SUV, really overrated.
Okay. You heard it here first. If you're in the market for a luxury car,
Come talk to me.
he's driven them all.
I've never driven them over 20 miles an hour, but I've driven them all.
Last question in
funny.
pop quiz. So Mac Miller is such a huge inspiration to you, inspiration to a lot of us. To what degree has Mac Miller's music or his pathway, how has it inspired you or been sort of a catalyst to you as you've continued this journey?
Yeah, in like unimaginable ways, like so many. You know what I mean? Like as like my life continues to unfold, and like even listening to his old music, like new things pop up constantly.
Yeah.
But
His catalog has aged so fucking well.
so well. But my thing really was like, I mean, I started listening to Mac Miller in like 2009. So I was listening to him a little bit before Kids came out on some like Dat Piff. I was really into Dat Piff.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. I was really into Dat Piff and mixtapes on there. And Mac had the High Life out and like the Jukebox. And that was like around the similar time Wiz was coming up. So I was really into
Wayne
like,
had he was in that mixtape era at that time,
Yeah.
sort of, or like maybe just on the fringe out of it, but
Yeah.
they were all on there and
yeah.
stuff like that.
And
yeah.
Taylor Gang was like huge at that time. So I
Yup,
was really into
yup.
Wiz and like Chevy Woods and that whole
Chevy Woods, yeah.
Yeah, that whole like scene was like where I was at in middle school. So I was already, Mac was like, I feel like he was the first, because I grew up listening to a lot of different kinds of music and like loved a lot of music, but I felt like Mac was the first artist that hit me like, this is for me. You know what I mean? And it just was like that from then. You know what I mean? So I started to grow up and he started to grow up, and the Blue Slide Park was cool and good at the time, but like every album he just kept getting better and better. And like as I started to make music and realizing like, oh, he produces too, oh, he plays all these instruments too, like all this stuff. And then I started realizing like, oh, he's inspired by the Beatles. Oh, he has a tattoo of Shel Silverstein. Like these are like things that I grew up doing.
Yeah.
So I realized that like our connective tissue wasn't like one-to-one. It was like our radius of things that inspired us. So that started to like,
That's really cool.
form my connections even like deeper with him, And then, I mean, it's hard to say when it really set in, but Divine Feminine was like a huge turning point for me, because like I had already started making music at the time, and I felt like Mac was already my biggest inspiration. And I was kind of getting my footing of like not knowing what I wanted to talk about and figuring that out. And then when he put out Divine Feminine, it was like the first time I had ever heard like a rapper make an album about love and have it be dope. And I was like, that was like super impactful for me, because I was like, that's something that I'm really inspired by and I like to talk about. And like, I was like, no one really like talks about this in a cool way. Like it's kind of like corny to be talking about love if you're the rapper. That's like the R&B thing, you know? So I was like, damn, like that really was a turning point for me. And then on the song Soulmate, he samples Robin Williams' interview with Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, and that's my favorite movie of all time. And I was like, you know what I mean? Like there couldn't be more of like a cementing moment that like this artist felt like he was made for me. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I feel like there's like an above me soulful connection between
A divine connection in some ways. No pun intended, but
no, for
kinda,
real.
yeah.
For real. So like that part, I mean, everything about it, you know what I mean? I don't know, I just felt like a lot of people experienced him and experienced artists in a different way. I think like I had like, for me, a very impactful journey with him. And the fact that he died, like,
I remember where I was.
me too.
It's crazy.
I was in the living room of my house in college.
Oh, weird. Me too. Oh, not in college, but with my college roommate, we had been living together. We both got home a little early that day. It was a Friday. I remember it. Got home from work.
It was like September 7th or something.
Something like that. And yeah. And he just goes, Mac Miller died. And it's almost one of those things you can't like.
Yeah.
Like at first something says it and you're like, you can't even like.
Fucking TMZ tweeted it.
Yeah. You can't even like comprehend it. You're like, I'm like, what? No. Really? Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it was that same thing. We were listening to Swimming. So
crazy.
That was super super impactful for me, man, cuz like I mean, already before that, one of like my guiding lights as like being an artist and being a producer was that like someday I'm going to work with Mac Miller. You know what I mean? Like that was one of the things that I was like, if I just work hard enough and like get good at this and get really good at this, and eventually there's no way I don't cross paths with him. You know what I mean? With like the music that I make, I'm obviously inspired by him.
Right.
In my mind, there was like no possible way that it wouldn't happen. And then that just like shattered.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to like get my bearings after that with music. Cause like, I mean, that's the person that everyone relates my music to. And for a long time, like, I don't want to say that it bothered me, but like, I felt like I wasn't original enough to where I felt like I had my own thing outside of it. I just felt like I was related to him in a way that was like a lower copy. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
It's a lesser version of a copy of him, you know? And
I can understand that.
I feel like now I'm really way more confident in being like, it's some Mac Miller shit, because you hear it, but it's me. And I'm confident in the fact that it is. But I think I could talk about Mac like all day, man, you know? Yeah. But like the layers to it are just so deep, because one of the things that is super important to me, and like one of the reasons why I love him so much, is like not only his rapping and that he's like a white kid from the burbs, all this shit that like had respect from everybody, but his like progression as an artist. Like he started with kids rapping over like sample beats, and like Blue Slide Park was like frat type rap, whatever. And then the last album, I mean, Balloonerism was the last album, but it was made way earlier. Some like whatever. But the last album that he made was Circles. And it like, that shit got, not that I care about this, but it got nominated for a Grammy under neo soul.
Isn't that crazy?
Not even rap.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
His last album wasn't even considered rap. I know. Like, that's fucking crazy.
It's the trajectory for me with him, because I've said this a couple times and it's gotten some flack, but like, I wasn't a huge Blue Slide Park guy. The mixtapes, I liked Kids, but the mixtapes not that, I'm not saying they're bad albums. It just didn't hit for me in that way. It wasn't until, because I was big on Future at the time, it wasn't really until he started, when he had put out, Faces I liked a lot too, but when he put out Watching Movies, it's not, I don't think it's his best work, but it was like, oh, he can go in this direction.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good Morning to me is that is my favorite album of his. Good AM. That is my favorite. There it is. Perfect. That is my personal favorite. Front to back, I think the back end has those soulful moments, those introspective moments, and then the front half has just like those catchy bops.
Yeah.
That just like were refined and felt mature
album.
and, you know, so good. The features don't feel bloated. They feel like they serve. They're very intentional. He's not, let's get Schoolboy to get Schoolboy. Let's not get Absol to get Absol.
Right.
It just felt like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that, like, yeah, the trajectory just skyrockets from, like, the musicality gets better.
Swimming.
Ridiculous.
Like,
Divine Feminine. Ridiculous.
I think Swimming is his best album.
I would...
Unobjectively, having not favoritizing anything, I think Swimming is his
I feel
most
comfortable.
well-done album.
I feel comfortable saying that as well. It's not
Having
my
a favorite is subjective.
Yeah, my favorite is Good AM for sure.
Yeah.
But I would agree that Swimming felt as though it was his sort of Mona Lisa moment.
Magnum opus.
Yeah, magnum opus, exactly.
What's the use? Like that bass.
It
My
was
favorite
crazy.
my favorite Mac song is Ladders.
Oh, unbelievable. Jet Fuel too, I loved. There's so many good songs on that.
So good.
But anyway, bro, like big, you know, shout out to, you know, Mac Miller and his just legacy at this
yeah,
point. Like,
I mean, he
it's
changed
just-
my life. I can't even like imagine my life without his impact.
Mm-hmm.
Like my life has been, my whole life has been inspired by him and his journey and just like who he is and like, and I've been having big germ masters on my music. So like the connection back to that shit is like insane. And it's just, I don't know, man. Like it's
crazy.
I feel blessed. It's obviously sad that he passed and it's tragic that he passed, but like I'm so like eternally grateful for him, his artistry, and like what the like life that he brought to me and the inspiration he brought to me and so many people. Like we don't have impactful artists like that as much.
It's not as common. It's just naturally, I think it's just oversaturated, right?
Yeah.
But no, to your point, he gave a voice to, I don't mean to come off and say it this way, but it's just kind of the reality. I feel like he gave an authentic voice to white kids that wanted to pursue rap.
Yeah.
Like, because Eminem, never felt like, while don't mince my words, I think Eminem was his authentic self,
Right.
and that's like who he is. But I don't think Eminem is as
Didn't resonate.
It's not as relatable.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And he's wildly talented. Let's call a spade. But like, Mac never felt like he was biting the culture. It always felt like he was trying. He always appreciated and respected the culture. People that were in, again, like I say this all the time, you know, we're both Caucasian. It's like, you know, we're all, you know, you're more, I guess, embedded in hip hop than I am, but I am also in it as well to a degree. And it's like, we are like guests in a house that we didn't build. And it's like, there's a respect that needs to be appreciated for that. And you never heard anybody say a bad word about that guy. You know what I mean? And I think that speaks volumes about not only his character, but also, again, his authenticity, and that the music always felt authentic as he grew. There was never a moment where I felt like this isn't a reflection of who he is. Right. And then I think it provided, and I don't mean it to come off like that, like, oh, he allowed white kids to pursue rap. Like, I don't mean it to sound like that. I think also on a grander scale, I think what I would come back to is, no matter what art form you're pursuing, even if you feel like you're an outsider potentially looking in, as long as you come into it with an authentic and genuine nature and you give that art form, no matter what it is, whether it's music, you know, painting, fucking videography, whatever the fuck it is, you come into that field or that industry with a level of respect and gratitude for what that is, and recognize your place in it, and don't try to be anything bigger or even less than that. I think that is the sort of, I would say, recipe for success in that place, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. I also think like he gave like sonically too, like imagine, I feel like he laid a bed of inspiration that so many people are like laying on now.
Correct.
In terms of like just the sound and like the soulful, the modern soulful version of hip hop that's alive still.
Yep.
Cause like you take him out of the equation of like the 2010s. It's like rap's mostly trap at that point. You know what I mean? Like, not mostly, like there's still Kanye and like J. Cole's still like doing his thing at the time, whatever. But like you take him out
it would have dominated further if
yeah,
you're
like
saying. Yeah.
you take him out of the equation and like like Anderson .Paak is the closest to his, like,
On a
for
commercial
me-
scale, yes.
Yeah, for me, like his sound and subject matter, and you know what I mean?
No, I
Like,
hear you.
Anderson .Paak's kind of probably the closest to that. So it's like you take him out of the equation, and like I just mean, and same what I'm saying about how many people he impacted, like it's just crazy. Like I truly feel like he had an immense impact on the culture.
Yep.
Sonically, with
Right.
you know,
It's so true. Now listen, you hit the nail on the head with it. That he, yeah, like I think you essentially I think you hit the nail on the head, and you actually like added to what I just said 100%. I think you tied it in together perfectly. That like he added,
yeah,
not even necessarily just was a like respect, like to what I said about him respecting and appreciating the culture. Like you're right, he totally added to it, and in a way that again was always authentic. And I think that's again like no matter what we do in life, if you can just lead with that, I think it speaks volumes to who. Not only who he became, but who. And I think that's the inspiration I take away from it. Not as a musician, but just as like if I can lead with that level of authenticity in my life, like how can I fail at that point? If that makes sense.
And I think it translates all the way down. You know, like even just what we were talking about before about like taking the break and everything. Just like personally, it's like, well, that version of how I was operating before, like maybe wasn't true to myself. And like
that's a good point.
You know, and like now I'm at a place where like I truly found like a better balance of life that I feel like is more organic for me. And it's like I'm taking a week off of social media just cuz. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to do that. You know what I mean? We have this like hustle culture that's kind of like entwined with society now that like isn't necessarily original to how people want to operate.
No.
You know?
No.
So it's like
in fact in a lot of ways unoriginal in a lot of ways.
yeah,
You know
so
what I
it's
mean?
like if you're just following the trends of how things are operating and following the algorithm, that might be cool in a way to like get you a little bit more views, but like in terms of just like authenticity and original, I like look at the artists that I really fuck with and like their pages and like how they operate, and it's just they just do what they want. And like obviously there's something you have to push, you know. Not everyone has the fucking is at the level to just drop whenever they want, whatever.
Sure.
But
We're not all Kendrick Lamar.
yeah, seriously. But like, you know what I'm saying? Just that whole thing of like the trickle down of figuring out your authentic self and where you can fit your originality into it. You know what I mean? Like I really am like I love fashion, and I feel like I'm able to like express myself in an original way based on like the clothes that I like and the way that like I post things, and you know, just all the way down, man, just being authentic, I feel like is the goal.
Goes a long way.
It goes a long way. And I mean, it's not, I mean, it's easier than it's said and done. It's just, just be yourself. Like you have to find what yourself is.
I think it comes in time and age. I think I hear you, because like when I was younger, I don't think I was obviously my authentic self. I think I wanted to be, but it's like you can have that intention, but if you don't know who you are, then I think that makes it that harder. Like I have conversation with a lot of my friends and family, and like these days I actually had a conversation with my brother yesterday, where he's helping me with something. It sounds silly, but I won't put it out there in the ether because I don't want to jinx anything. But basically, I'm applying to do this thing, and some people in my life are like, oh, like why would you do that? That's silly. But I don't know. For me, it's like feels authentic to what I want to do in my life and what I would like to pursue. And like my brother, I must ask my brother for some help with it for the application. He's like, I respect that you're like going for this. Like this is super dope. Like even if it doesn't work out, like who the fuck cares? Right. And it's like because honestly, man, when I was 10 years ago, Mike, like I would have been worried about what people think about that, and people again. I'm always, hey, if you want to give me your opinion on anything I'm doing, fucking go for it. But these days it doesn't eat at me, in any which way that it used to, if that makes sense. And like now it's like because I'm able to, because I know who I am and I know what I want. Like a lot of other people's opinions don't matter to me anymore. Right. And I shouldn't say it that way. They don't matter, but they don't have that impact on me in that way. Good or bad, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like I'll always appreciate it if it comes from a constructive place or it comes from a positive place. Like that's amazing. Yeah. And that, anything I'm doing or anything, my art or whatever whatever I'm putting out into the world, that it's impacting somebody. It's great to hear. But, again, it's like to be able to say, okay, like this is the path I want to walk because it's my own and because I can own own it and not feel like it can be anybody else's, I think that's when, you know, it's at its most impactful for ourselves.
For sure. I feel like one thing too that I'm like kind of settling into and figuring out, I feel like that also comes with maturity, is like allowing yourself to be your authentic self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I live in the LA, and it's like a complete, when I first moved to LA, like I lived in Italy in college. When I moved to California, it was comparable to the culture shock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, Italy was more. It's a different language. Whatever.
Sure.
But like my first time coming to LA, I was like, this is like a different country.
Yeah.
So I'm there trying to learn how to express myself, realizing I have all these preconceived versions of myself that were tied into me growing up here, and like society here, and like the culture of Massachusetts, and like my family. Not that any of them's wrong. Like, I'm not saying that any of it's bad, but just in terms of like realizing that I'm allowed to express myself however I want, you know, like I like to paint and draw and stuff. And like, I've been drawing recently and like coming up with like cool original shit. And I'm like, damn, I almost like don't allow myself to do it that often, because I'm almost like scared to be the most original version of myself. Shit, I know, but it's like, that's kind of really where I'm like starting to mature more. And that's, I think
it does come in time.
Yeah. I think that's really what happened with this album too. You know, I really figured out.
Good tie back.
Yeah. I really feel like that's what happened with me starting to be able to, like I said, like come up with more potent subject matters and just like say the thing, you know?
Yeah. And like, own it. If it's your truth and you believe it and it's to your core, own that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. No.
Yeah.
Man, well, listen, I've loved this conversation.
Me too.
And I'm so glad we finally got to sit down and do it.
I know.
This has been, I mean, I knew it was going to go well. To me, it went way better than I had even anticipated. And so again, I appreciate you coming on here and being your authentic true self and not trying to fucking, you know, show off for a camera or whatever. Like this is who you are off of the camera. So that, you know, even more so. So I appreciate that so much.
We talked like this an hour beforehand.
Yeah, seriously. No, for real. I know we were joking. We're like, we should have probably just thrown the friggin' microphone on in there. Can't let go quite yet. We're almost wrapped up. We got our final segment of the show, which is called the Dream Song Scenario.
Let's go.
So you get a song. It's a Bee Cave song.
Okay.
And you can get any artists or producers on that song, dead or alive. I'll structure it for you, though.
Okay.
You get 1 to 2 producers and up to 3 guest features. We can't be having like any like work remixes and run one trains. If I let you artists come on here and say, who do you want to go?
4 is already a lot, but
it's already a lot. I feel like I'm already being generous enough with the 3 features and the 1 to 2 producers. But anyway, so we'll cap it at that. You don't have to use all of those slots. It's just, that's the limit.
All right.
So Bee Cave song, any artist and producer, dead or alive, up to 2 producers, up to 3 guest features.
Right. I'll use them all for the sake of the segment.
Go for it.
Mac, obviously.
I was about to say, that feels obvious. Off the heels of what we just talked about. Feels, especially if it's dead or alive.
Obvious.
You know. Okay, so
Obvious
that's an easy one.
Dominic Fike.
Love Dominic Fike. He's one of my favorite artists.
Dude, one of my favorite artists. Also, I've always been sad that we never got to hear them 2 work together.
I think they could have made some amazing stuff.
So if I can do that,
perfect.
It doesn't even matter. Nothing else matters. I don't even need to be on the song. I just want to hear them 2 on the song.
Maybe you can throw in a couple ad libs here.
Yeah, for real. Third, I want to say like one side of me wants to say Bob Marley.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
But then the other side of me wants to say West Side Gun. So those are 2 different directions.
If you're gonna ask, if you're asking me, which you're probably not,
I think I'm gonna go Bob.
I was about to say, I think Bob makes more sense with Dom.
Yeah.
I think West Side and Mac could be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't see Dom and West Side, but hey, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting it couldn't happen, but
West Side Gun been on repeat.
No,
lately,
that's valid. That's valid.
That'd be crazy. But I'm like, yeah. So that would be a crazy Dan, but like John Lennon too, I feel like would be crazy in the room with Mac. But I'm gonna stick with Bob because I feel like
Bob works.
Bob works because I feel like, you know, we're talking potency.
That could make it. Yeah, that'd be a special track.
A special track.
Who's
like,
producing this
profound. John Bellion.
Thank you.
John Bellion.
And no one would ever know it either. And I might be surprised 5 years later. I'm like, John Bellion produced that? Like, yeah, I produced and fucking ghost wrote for all your favorite artists.
Dude.
He's the man.
I'm
I'm so sorry to like burst your bubble. But basically, Justin Bieber's entire justice is thanks to John Bellion.
Like his music or not, he's written and produced a lot of songs that you listen to.
Exactly.
He's incredible, bro. He's one of my biggest inspirations production-wise.
He is
too.
my favorite artist at this time. Growing up, it was Outkast. Now, over the last decade, it's been John Bellion.
Nice.
100%.
He's epic. I love that he's back.
Me too.
Yeah.
New album was fantastic.
Yeah, the production is fucking
Amazing.
He's out of his mind.
Enjoyed the hell out of it.
He's out
all right,
of his
John Bellion is a producer. I fucking love that. Just John, or are you going to get somebody else, or is that?
Rick Rubin.
We're starting off the year hot, people.
What a combination.
Are you kidding me? Bee Cave featuring Mac Miller, Dominic Fike, Bob Marley, produced by John Bellion and Rick Rubin. You ain't going to tell me that's going to be sitting at the #1 charts for probably a decade.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Be a profound track.
Unreal. All right, we'll put it into universe. Bee Cave,
For real.
I appreciate you, dog.
Fuck yeah.
You're the man. You're the man.
You're
This
the
has
man.
been such a great episode. You know, hey, listen, so hey, those of you guys that went to Fire Inside, get on our cases. Like, do you want it back? I think we got to run it back in 2026. I think 2025. I think we get the asterisk. I think you had your horrendous injury. I was planning a fucking wedding. Like, I get it, right? I feel like I remember you like reached out to me like I think in like September after I just got. You're like, so we ain't doing the show this year, huh? And I'm like. I just don't think I have it in me to plan something else. I've been planning this.
Dude, I mean, like,
or
bro,
October, whenever it was. Again, whatever. It is what it is. We'll get on it earlier this year.
We'll get on it earlier.
We're gonna make it happen.
I mean, for those of you that don't know, you need to fucking plan a show for like, we'll just say when we planned the one last year, we started planning it in June.
Yeah, we were 6 months in advance on that shit.
So like,
just for context, it's
and that was they already like made us pick a date.
Yeah, seriously.
They were like, "There's 3 other people that want this date. Pay us right now." And we're like, "Fuck, all right."
But we will make it happen in 2026,
We'll
people. We promise we'll be back. We'll hopefully better than ever as well.
Yeah.
But I will say, Bee Cave is back and better than ever as well. That much I know. Thanks so much for being here. All you can do is just look at that left side camera. Let the people know where they can find you. Anyone else you want to shout out? Any last words? Now would be the time.
My name is Bee Cave. You can follow me at BCave_ on all platforms. My new album Sage is out everywhere.
Stream that shit.
Stream that shit, man. Just, I don't know, tap in with me, man. I'm trying to figure it out.
I like that. I'm also trying to figure it out. And if you want to tap in with us, Turntable Teachers on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure to check us out at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. And yeah, 2026, we're back with more episodes here at AOA Studios. It's going to be another great year of conversations. Thank you all so much for the support you've given us over the last, can't believe we're on year 7 of Turntable Teachers. It feels crazy to say that.
Yeah.
But we are on year 7.
Let's go.
So hopefully this is a lucky number 7. Got some really cool stuff in the works this year as well. I can't contractually say yet, but just want to throw that out there. So I hope this is, and I think this is going to be our biggest year yet. So make sure you guys tune in. And as always, I'm Mike. That's Bee Cave with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn.